Good morning, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. We're so pleased to welcome members and guests here this morning as Olivia Marshall brings us together as she becomes a bat mitzvah. And we know for some of you it's probably a new experience to be in a Jewish setting and a Jewish worship service. So we want to encourage you to participate by using this book that's in the pews. And if there's one not right in front of you, you can search around and find one or go out in the hall and get one. This is our prayer book. You'll notice that it opens from right to left, and that's the way Hebrew is written. You'll get used to it after a while. And we invite you to read the passages that we read in English and stand when we stand and sit when we sit if you're comfortable with that. Also like to ask you now to take a moment to silence your phone and to please not use your phones while you're here to take pictures. This will be a very well-recorded event by a photographer, so please don't take pictures during the service. This is a worship service. We ask you also not to applaud, although you might feel like it sometime, because this is a worship experience and not a show. We also would like to invite you, if you didn't take it, to take the program that was out in the hallway. If you can go back and get one if you didn't, because this will explain a lot of things in the service. The family has prepared this for you so that you understand what's going on and you know who's participating. We're going to begin with a Shabbat song, which just has very simple words in it, bim bam, which is just syllables that don't really mean anything, and then Shabbat Shalom, which means Sabbath peace. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. And if you'll open your prayer book to page 128, you'll find there the words to Hine Matov. This is the words from Psalm 133. How good and how pleasant it is for people to be together in peace. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Now we'll turn to our Shabbat morning service, page 288. 288. And we join in singing Moda ani lefanecha, or Moda ani lefanecha. We thank God for waking us up and giving us this new day of life. Moda ani lefanecha, elechai v'kayam, shehechezarta b'nishmati bechem la, bechem la, Rabbi emunatecha. continue on page 287. During the service, we're going to be calling up members of Olivia's family and others for honors in the service. And so we begin this morning on 287 as we call up Beth Poquette Drews and Chris Drews, her aunt and uncle, for a reading.
It is not we alone who pray. All things pray. All things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays. Every creature and every living thing prays. In all life there is longing. Creation itself is but a longing, a prayer to the Almighty.
What are the clouds, the rising and the setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon, and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the outpouring of boundless longing for God.
Thank you so much. And we'll continue on page 290 as we join in Ma Tovu. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha, Yaakov, Ohalecha, Yaakov, Mishkanotecha, Israel. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha, Yaakov, Ohalecha, Yaakov, Mishkanotecha, Israel. Va'ani berov chastecha avo veitecha eshtachaveh el heichal kodshecha be'yiratecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Israel. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Israel. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chastecha aneni be'emet ishecha. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Israel. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Israel. Page 291. We read together a blessing for our bodies. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, Were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar, umafli la'asot. And we continue on page 292 with the blessing for our souls as we join in singing. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata berata, ata yetzarta, ata nefachta bi, ve'ata mishamra b'kirbi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. We continue on pages 293 and following as we chant in the Hebrew and the English, thanking God for miracles of everyday life. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who made me in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. We continue on 298 as we join in singing Elu Devarim She'ein Lahem Shi'ur. These are the mitzvot, the commandments of Jewish life that you can never do too many times. Elu Devarim She'ein Lahem Shi'ur, Elu Devarim She'ein Lahem Shi'ur, Elu Devarim She'ein Lahem Shi'ur, V'elu Ein Kibud Avaim, Ugemilut Chasadim, V'hashkamat Beit HaMidrash, Shacharit ve'aravit, Elu devarim she'en lahem shi'ur, Elu devarim she'en lahem shi'ur, Elu devarim she'en lahem shi'ur, ve'elu ein והכנסת אורחים, וביקור חולים, והכנסת כלה, ולוויית הבית, ועיון תפילה, ועיון תפילה, והבאת שלום בין אדם לחברו, ותלמוד תורה כנגד כולם, ותלמוד תורה כנגד כולם, ותלמוד תורה כנגד כולם. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, ואלו אין. Page 302. We join in singing from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatcha baleilot, alei asor ve'alei, alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, ki simachtani Adonai befoalecha, b'maaseh yadecha aranein. Ma gadlu ma'asecha Adonai me'od, ameku machshevotecha. Mizmor shir leyom hashabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. We chant responsively in the Hebrew prayer Ashrei, pages 303 and 304. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od yehallelu chasela, Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am shadonai Elohav, tehillah leDavid, aromimcha Elohai ha'melech, va'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed, b'chol yom avarchecha, ve'ahalala shimcha le'olam. Gadol Adonai u'mehulal me'od, v'li gdulato ein cheker. Dor ledor yeshabach ma'asecha, u'gevurot yagidu, hadar kevod hodecha, v'divrei niflotecha asicha, ve'ezuz norotecha yomeru, u'gedulatecha asaprena, zecherav tuvecha yabiu, v'tzidkatecha yeranenu, chanun v'rachum Adonai, erech apayim u'gedol chased, Tov Adonai lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav, yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yevar, kavod malchutecha yomeru, u'gevuratecha yedaberu, lehodia livnei ha'adam gevurotav, u'chavod hadar. Malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha v'chol dor v'ador. Somech Adonai l'chol hanoflim, v'zokef l'chol kefufim, einei chol elecha yisaberu, ve'ata noten lahem et ochlam be'ito, פותח את ידיך ומשביע לכל חי רצון. צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו וחסיד בכל מעשיו. קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראוהו באמת. רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם. שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד. תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, ויברך כל בשר, שם קודשו לעולם ועד. ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah. At this time, I'd like to call up Olivia to lead us in worship, and her parents to present her with her talit, her prayer shawl. You're going to read from here, but first you're going to read from the talit, right? Get a little closer to the mic. You guys get closer to the mic this way. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahit asef b'tzitzit.
There you go. You're going to say anything? No? Okay, you can just go down then. And we continue now on 312 as we rise for Reader's Kaddish, Chatzi Kaddish. Nice and loud now. Nice and loud.
Yikada v'yikada shemei rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma devara hirute v'yamid malchute
B'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chaye kol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari.
ve'imaru
Amen.
Yehi
Shmei Rabba Mevarach le'alam ul'am le'amaya yitbarach.
Yipara v'yitaba v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnase v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala shemeda kudasha
Barihu.
ve'elam minko berchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata dami ranbialma.
ve'imaru amen.
Amen. On the facing page. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. We're going to sing this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshe oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Ir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechochma asita, ma'a haaretz kinyanecha, tibarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or, she'asita yifa'arucha selah, or Hadash al Tzion Ta'ir, v'nizkeh hulanu meheira le'oro, Baruch Ata Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot.
Please turn to page 317. Responsively. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear, in every land, in every age. Your children have heard you, imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one unifier of humanity.
We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel. And joyfully, we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose.
May the teaching of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals in beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch Ata Adonai Habocher Be'amo Yisrael Be'ahava.
Shema
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'ham b'shitecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha lema'an tizkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet.
Please turn to page 321. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, in earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children. In the graciousness to come, the song of a land once ravished ravished by war, now quiet and content. Her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Mi hamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi nehedar b'kodesh, Noah tehilot osef eleh, Noah tehilot osef eleh. Shira chadasha, shibachu geolim, l'shivcha al sfatayam, yachad kulam hodu, v'himliho v'ameru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah
Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Do it for
Oh, wait. Please rise for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'Konei Ha'akol V'Zocher Hasei Avot v'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Libnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Tagibor le'olam Adonai Mechaye hakol ata Rav lehoshia Mashiv haruach Umori hagashem Mechalkel chaim bechesed Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim V'rofeh cholim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar Mi hamocha Baal gevurot Umido melach Melech meimit umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'amanata lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam Kishem shemakdishim oto marom Kakatu al yar nemi echad Ze'el ze ve'amar Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Adonai Sevaot Milo Kol Haaretz Kevodo Adir Adirenu Adonai תשמיענו, ברחמה לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue on page 329.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
Together.
The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things in space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Responsively, on this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others.
Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us.
Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. Our O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you.
Baruch atah Adonai levadecha b'yirah na'avod. And at this time, I'd like to call up Joe Poquette, who is Olivia's uncle and godfather, and Adrian Wohler, her godmother, to read. And you're going to, no, you say this when they get up here, okay? Go ahead.
Please join me in the Hebrew responses below.
And you come over here and let them have that mic. There we go. I got it.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxy beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears but by our hopes, and not by our words but by our deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lahodot. Thank you very much. We continue on 334. Sim shalom tova uvracha chen b'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yisrael amecha barcheinu yotzreinu kulanu ke'echad be'or panecha ki be'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yisrael amecha Torat chaim ve'ahavat chesed ve'ahavat chesed u'tzedaka u'veracha ve'rachamim ve'chayim ve'shalom. Sim shalom tova u'vracha chen v'chesed ve'rachamim ve'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol Yisrael amecha v'tov be'enecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol eit u'v'chol shah b'shlomecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael, Amecha, Baruch ata Adonai, Hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Please pray silently. Meditations can be found on pages 335 through 337.
Ose shalom imroma, huya ase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru amen. We continue now with the Torah service. And for that, we're going to turn in our books to 362. Put my guitar away. And we'll rise as we take the Torah from the ark. Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'maasecha. Malchutcha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Page 364. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is justice, love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah. Le'amo Yisrael Bikdu Moshe kibel Torah miSinai. Moses received the Torah at Mount Sinai and passed it on to Joshua. Joshua passed it on to the elders. The elders passed it on to the prophets, and the prophets passed it on to the sages of the Great Assembly. And so the Torah has been passed on from generation to generation until it's reached our own day. And so today we pass the Torah from generation to generation, from great-great-aunt to cousin of your Aaron's father Steve's generation, who couldn't be here today because he is ill, to parents, to Aaron, and your dad will pass it to you, Olivia, in the hope and the prayer that you too will pass it to all who come after you, just as your brother Ethan received the Torah a couple of years ago. And we know that none of this could be happening, Olivia, if your mother wasn't an incredible support to raising you and your brother as Jews in our community. So you'll just touch it. Just touch it. You don't have to hold it. We'll all go to the step. We continue together on 366. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. In English, hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. We turn this way. Gadlul Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod. Ki chova shama. Go back to your seats now if you want. Ki chova shamayim. You just come up when we come around to the other side. Ha Adonai hamamlacha v'amit naseh l'chol lirosh. Ki chova shamayim uva'aretz. Ki chova shamayim uva'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'amit naseh l'chol erosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim. Ha'olam, ha'olam omed, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, ha'olam, ha'olam omed. To the chair. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah, the seat. Ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, goes on the pad. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam, ha'olam omed. You go stand by your chair. Please be seated. the Torah portion for this Shabbat is Vayechi. It's the very last Torah portion in the book of Genesis. Next week we'll start reading from Exodus, or the book of Shemot. So when we come to the end of the reading this morning, when Olivia will be leading us, we'll all say together, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, let us be strong and strengthen one another. This is our tradition every time we finish reading a book of Torah in our cycle, and we go on to the next. So we are reading this morning from chapter 50 of Genesis, and if you can find nearby in your seats either this red book, which is called Eitz Chaim, or another blue book that does not have a flame on the cover, which is another Torah commentary called the Hertz Chumash, you can find the passages that we will be reading. We will be beginning in the red book, the Eitz Chaim, on page 307. So it's Genesis 50, chapter 50, verse 7. So in the red book, 307, starting at verse 7. And in the blue book on page 189, beginning with verse 7 as well. We enter the story here at the time of Jacob dying, and the brothers at Jacob's wishes going back up to the land of Canaan where they had come from before the famine caused them to go to Egypt, because Jacob wanted to be buried with the rest of his family in a cave that Abraham, his grandfather, had purchased for that purpose near Hebron. And so we come into the story here where Joseph is going up with a lot of other people, Egyptian dignitaries and so on, to bury his father. And then after they bury him, there's worry among the brothers that now Joseph is going to take revenge on them because of what they did to him way back when, throwing him in the pit. You remember that story, and then selling him to Egypt. They're thinking, oh, now that our dad's dead, he's going to be mean to us. But Joseph chooses to make peace in the family. And it's a very important moment in the story of keeping the family together. And also, it really affects the whole history of the Jewish people and all the peoples that came forth from the Jewish people, because this family became the tribes who became the children of Israel, who became the Jewish people. So it's a very pivotal moment in the story of our people, and also a very sad moment because of Jacob's death. And then at the end of this Torah portion, Joseph also dies. So we're going to be calling members of Olivia's family and others up for honors, the honor of blessing the Torah. For the first section, we're going to call Terry Thornton, her bat mitzvah tutor. Ta'amod Sarah bat Abraham v'Sarah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayal Yosef v'kavor et avicha ka'asher hashvicha. Sorry, vayal. Here it is. This is it. Vayal Yosef likbor et aviv, vaya'alu ito kol abdei Pharaoh ziknei beito, v'chol ziknei eretz Mitzrayim, v'chol beit Yosef, ve'echav u'veit aviv, rak tapam v'tzonam u'v'karam, azvu be'eretz Goshen, vaya'al imo gam rechav, gam parashim, vayehi hamachaneh kaved me'od.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Stand on my left. For the second aliyah, we call to the Torah family friend Ryan Fiala. Ya'amod Chaim ben Avraham. Do you want to use this to touch it? There you go. Okay, there you go.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Baruch atah
No,
Adonai.
I'm looking for my place.
Oh, okay.
It's not your fault, it's
Okay.
my fault. Vayavo ad goren ha'atad asher ba'ever hayardein v'yispadu sham mispeid gadol v'chaved me'od vayas le'aviv evel shivat yamim vayar yoshev ha'aretz ha'kna'ani et ha'evel begoren ha'atad vayomeru evel kaved zel mitzrayim al kain kara shema avel mitzrayim asher be'ever hayardein vaya'asu vanav lo kain ka'asher tzivam. Now,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat be'emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
I'm going to stand on my left. For the third Aliyah, we call to the Torah Olivia's uncle, Brandon Marshall. Ya'amod Binyamin ben Yosef Dov Udevora. Ya'amod Shlishit.
Baruch et Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayisu oto banav arza Canaan. Vayikrevu oto b'ma'arat sadeh hamachpelah. Asher kana Avraham et hasadeh le'achuzat kever. Me'ed Ephron hachiti al pnei Mamre. Vayashov Yosef Mitzrayma hu ve'echav v'chol ha'olim ito likbor et aviv acharei kavro et aviv vayir'u achei Yosef ki meit avihem vayomru lu yitztameinu Yosef v'hashev hashiv lanu et kol hara'ah asher gamalnu oto.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochem henu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Come and stand on my left. For the fourth Aliyah, we call to the Torah Olivia's brother, Ethan Marshall. Ya'amod Aryeh Eitan ben Menachem Yitzchak Yonah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayitzvu el Yosef lemor, avicha tziva lifnei moto lemor, kotomru leYosef ana sa na fesha achicha vechatatam kira agmalucha ve'ata sana lefesha avdi Elohei avicha vayef Yosef b'dabram elav vayelchu gam echav vayiplu lefanav vayomeru hinenu lecha la'avadim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Stand on my left. Yes, please. Stay, because of the lifting of the Torah. For the fifth Aliyah, we call to the Torah Aaron Marshall, Olivia's dad, along with his mom, her mom, Elisa, to come up here to join him. Ya'amod Chamishi, Ya'amod Menachem Yitzchak Yona ben Yosef Dov Udevora.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayomer lehem Yosef al tira'u ki hatachat Elohim ani ve'atem chashavtem alai ra'a Elohim chashava letova leman aso kayom hazeh lahachayot amrav ve'ata al tira'u Anochi achalkel etchem ve'atapechem v'yenachem otam v'yedaber al libam v'yashov Yosef b'Mitzrayim hu uveit aviv v'yechi Yosef 110 shanim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Stand on my left. And now on the occasion of her becoming a bat mitzvah, we call to the Torah Olivia Francine Marshall. Ta'amod Sararut bat Menachem Yitzchak Yona. Ta'amod habat mitzvah. So stand here and hold the yad. See where your part is? Right? Vayar Yosef, is that right? Okay, now. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam. Louder.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Vayahar Yosef la'Ephraim b'nei Shilashim Gaham b'nei Machir ben Menashe Yoduhu Aberke Yosef Vayomer Yosef Elechav Anohi Me'e Velohi Pakod Yivkahod Edhem Ve'elah Edhem Min Ha'aretz Hazohod El ha'aretz asher nishbah Abraham la'Yitzchak u'Yaakov Vayashbah Yosef et bnei Yisrael לאמור הקודivko Elohim Ehem Ve'elvat Litem Asmotai Mizeh Ve'yamod Yosef Ben Me'aha Ve'eser Shanim Ve'yachantu Et Oto Vayisam Varon V'Mizrayim
Chazak, chazak, benit chazek. The blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayi olam noten v'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Look at your parents. They're going to read a prayer for you. Come by this mic here.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come.
And may you trust in generations past and yet to be. May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be rich in understanding.
May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue, and your vision clarify a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and may your face reflect with the brightness of the heavens.
May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
Even as you ever yearn to hear the words of the Ancient One of Holiness.
I'll take that from you. Hugs and kisses.
You want hugs and kisses?
Okay. I'm so proud of you. We rise as we lift the Torah. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. So for the honor of Galila dressing the Torah, we call Joyce Riffer and Rochelle Riffer cousins. And of course, Ethan had the honor of Hagba lifting the Torah. I already tightened it pretty well, I think. Just twist it a bit like that to make it tighter. It's a little tricky thing. And let's twist it a little more. Yeah, like this. There we go. Okay, now the cover. Or open it up and back so it's easier. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Over here, right. And then you want to put that on? Please be seated. Now it's real. Sit back a little bit in the chair. There you go. You good? You can go to your chair. We continue now with the Mishaberach for those in need of healing. You can find that prayer on page 371 of your prayer book. As we say the Mishaberach this Shabbat, we think of congregation members who are in need of healing. Mira Domash, Mira Bat David Udvora Yael, David Domash, David ben Avram, Natan Umeira, Linda Selsberg, Leah Ruth, Bat Yaakov Halin, Marv Letben, Mesha ben Shmuel Vesasha, Stephen St. Amand, Chagai, Mibeit Avraham Vesara, Naomi Weissman Zabler, Naomi, Bat Shreiga Feivel Umiriam, William Jewell, Yisrael ben Avraham Vesara, Vita Karndif, Chaya, Bat Yeshayahu Vesara, Barney Lavin, Baruch Eliyahu ben Avraham Vesara, Skelly Warren, Yaakov ben Yaakov, Mary Beth Mikrut, Esther, Bat Avraham Vesara, Lisa Alexander, Leah Michal, Bat Rezel Chaya, Harriet Wittert, Shana Hana Halevi, Bat Yaakov Pesach. If there are others that you would like to mention who are in need of healing, please do so at this time. We are thinking also for Olivia's family of her grandparents, Steve Marshall and Deborah Marshall, neither of whom could be here because of illness, and John Berger, her cousin. If there are others you would like to mention, please do so now. Any others? We also pray for healing for all those who are injured and who are suffering physically and emotionally in Israel and in Gaza. And we pray for healing for those who struggle against addiction, alcoholism, and mental illness. And we pray for courage for those in recovery. We join together praying for refuah shlema, a complete recovery. Mi shebeirach avotenu mikor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And now we call Olivia up here again as she reads the Haftarah. Say that. Start with that.
I'll now read the Haftarah for this Shabbat from the book of 1 Kings chapter 2. It can be found on page 313 in the red Haim Hamash, and on page 191 in the blue Hertz Hamash. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrechem v'na'emarim v'emer Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo v'Yisrael amo v'yeh ha'emer v'sedek. Amen. Elohim, Hayigravu, Yame Davihi, Lamud, Vayi, Sahav, Echlomro, Vanohov, Lemor, Hano Hihi, Holehe, Badehe, Koha Arat, Veha, Zaktaha, Vehaitaha, Veihi, Vesha, Martaha, Mishmehe, Mehere, Adonai, Elohe, Balach, Bidraha, Ishmor, Taha, Misrotav, Mishpotav, Vaedotav, Kakatuhu, Victorad, Moshe, Ma'ahan, Teshkihio, Eid, Kor Asher, Ta'aseh, Ve'ehen, Kor Asher, Tiv, Nehe, Sham. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Sorko ha'olamim Sadik v'kor ha'orotah Ha'el ha'ne'eman Ha'omer ha'vehoseh Hamedaber umeka'eh Shekol debaraha emed vasedek ahamo hatorah ha'omodaha va'ahanema mi'im va'om yom Shabbat Hazeh Shana ta le'imanu Adonai Eloheinu le'dusha ve'li'nuha ve'chavod ule'tifaret Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu modim la u'mevarchim ota Barach Beki Kohai Tamid Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Mechadesh HaShabbat.
Yeshkoach. You did it. You did your whole Torah portion, your Haftarah. Yeshkoach to you. We look forward to having you come and lead services in the future, too. Maybe you and your brother will team up and you'll lead services for us when I'm gone. Yeshkoach. You can be seated. We are going to continue with our closing parts of the Torah service as we call up Tom and Dorothy Poquette, Olivia's grandparents, to read on page 376 the prayer for our country. I don't blame you. I like it too.
O guardian of life and liberty, May our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of the creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us
to all appreciate one another
and to respect the many ways that we may serve you.
May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much for participating. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll continue also with a prayer for the state of Israel on the bottom of 377. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there, and let us say, Amen. 374, we rise to return the Torah to the ark. Get the cup. Odo al eretz v'shamayim vayaren keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. For I have given you good instruction. Do not abandon my Torah. Eitz chayim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomecha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai el echa v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kikedem. Please be seated. Leave your book. You're going to give your speech now. Take the clip off for you.
Okay. In my Torah portion by he, it talks about the death of both Jacob and Joseph. It starts with the fact that Jacob knows that he is dying and calls for his son Joseph to visit him. When Joseph arrives, Jacob tells him that he is dying and makes Joseph promise not to bury him in Egypt, but rather to bury him in Canaan. Jacob understands that this task is going to be difficult, and by not burying Jacob in Egypt, it is going to cast doubt on Joseph's loyalty to Egypt, which may impact Joseph's leadership. He then asks Joseph to bring him his grandson Ephraim and Manasseh. When the grandsons arrive, Jacob crosses his arms and places his right hand on Ephraim's head, who was the youngest, and his left hand on Manasseh, who was the oldest. Joseph tried to correct Jacob as his eyesight was poor, and placed his right hand on the oldest and the left hand on the youngest. But Jacob kept his right hand on Ephraim and told Joseph, "He too shall be great." Jacob's sons formed the 12 tribes of Israel, and Joseph had Jacob's body embalmed, which took 40 days. Joseph left Egypt to take Jacob to be buried in Canaan, like his father wished. I think this part is important because Joseph could have gone against his father's wishes and buried Jacob in Egypt to resolve any doubts, but he chose the path to carry out his dad's wishes. At the end of my Torah portion, Joseph returns to Egypt to live the rest of his days. Joseph lived to be 110 years old, which is even old for today. When Joseph knew he was dying, he gave his grandchildren advice, saying, God will take care of them. He was embalmed and placed in a coffin in Egypt, saying, take me with you when you leave. What I find most interesting about this Torah portion is the discussion of burial customs. In modern Judaism, we don't embalm the dead. We believe we should be buried in an all-natural state, but in this Torah portion, it talks about the embalming of Joseph and Jacob, which is very different from what we do now. I cannot help but think about the reason why they changed this custom after Joseph's time. In Judaism, it is customary that the funeral and burial occurs almost immediately after the death, typically within 24 hours. This serves several purposes. First, a quick burial helps put the soul at rest. Second, it allows the family time to start grieving. Lastly, since the body is not embalmed, a quick burial is good for the health of the community. When a loved one passes away, the family sits Shiva for 1 whole week to mourn the loss of the loved one and pray every night in a minyan. The idea of 7 days of mourning comes from this Torah portion in chapter 50, verse 10. We read that the family mourned Jacob for 7 days. Friends and family will bring food to the Shiva family as they will not leave their home for the week. You should not take food away from the Shiva house. While sitting Shiva is common practice today, I wonder how Joseph's family mourned his loss and what a Shiva looked like back then. I think that this Jewish burial custom and Shiva are good because having the 7 days of mourning is important because you are sad and you need that time to get yourself back together. You have time to slow down to remember and honor the loved one that has passed away, to pray for the soul and for you to find peace. The meaning of becoming a bat mitzvah is that when a girl turns 13, they are called upon to receive the Torah. Receiving the Torah is special to me because I get to read from it for the first time and I get to read the words that have been handed down from generation to generation. Of the 613 Jewish commandments, 248 are do's and 319 are don'ts. You become an adult in Judaism and take up the commandments that you follow. There are some that you should just know already, like don't steal and don't murder. And there are some weird ones like you shall set aside firstborn animal that have to do with old custom when they are still a temple in Jerusalem. However, there are commandments I look forward to taking responsibility for and upholding today. Some of those commandments include to know there is a God, to eat matzah on Passover, lend to the poor or and destitute, and not to insult or harm anybody with words. I also get to take responsibility for the customs and traditions for the religion holidays. Becoming a bat mitzvah is important to me because I am becoming a leader in my temple and role model for younger kids in the Sunday school. For my Deeds of Kindness project, I made cards to spread simcha, happiness, and cheer, to be sent to members of the temple for given during a visit. In my haftarah, we learned about the importance of being a good person, treating all people with kindness, and decided it was important to make these cards for the people who need cheer. It is important to take time to spread simcha and let others know we are thinking of them. In addition to making the cards, I also had the opportunity to meet and visit with a couple from the temple. I hand-delivered 2 cards with the rabbi and spent time sharing our accomplishments in our lives and learn from each other. I hope to continue reaching out to spread simcha, meeting with members of the temple in the future, and would like to encourage each one of you to take time out of your busy schedule to do the same. I will be making a donation to Meals on Wheels in Kenosha. According to Kenosha Area Family Aging Services, every 1 in 2 seniors living alone lack the income to pay for basic needs like food. Meals on Wheels helps these seniors receive very important food and also provide them with a very much needed social interaction that they otherwise not receive. It is important to me because we need to remember that all lives are important and we need to take care of everybody. First, I would like to thank my friends, families, teachers, teammates, and congregation members for coming and supporting me today. It really means a lot to have everyone here. Secondly, I would like to thank the rabbi for teaching me Hebrew, the Torah, and for giving me your guidance while studying for this day. Next, I would like to thank Ms. Terry for all the Torah and Haftorah tutoring. And finally, thank you to my parents for raising me with faith and for their unending support.
Now it's our turn, Olivia.
I don't know why I did it. You see it under there? Yeah, okay.
Olivia, I'm very proud of you. I'm so tired. Sorry. That wasn't in the speech. Sorry, I apologize.
We only made it 3 words.
Okay. Olivia, I'm very proud of you on becoming a bat mitzvah. A lot of work and dedication has gone into this moment. Today, you start to take control of your religious journey by receiving the Torah. In the Torah, you'll find guidance on everything you encounter in life. No, it will not tell you how to do a triple time step. It will not tell you how to do a forte turn. But it does tell you how to be a good student and to learn from others. It will not tell you how to find a boyfriend, but it will tell you how to maintain and honor relationships. As we recall in Simchat Torah, the Jewish holiday that celebrates the conclusion of reading the Torah, once you finish the Torah, you hurry up and you start reading the beginning of the Torah. It teaches us that the study in a Torah never ends. As you grow, your understanding and the relationship with the words written in the Torah will grow too. You will never stop learning from the Torah, and your faith will never stop growing. An important thing to remember is that there are 2 things in the world that can never be taken from you. 1 is your education, and 2 is your faith. Almost 13 years ago, you received your Hebrew name. Sarah is after your great-great-aunt Sylvia, of whom your dad will talk about. Ruth is after your great-grandma Mary Ann Ruth. One moment, please. As well as in honor of your Oma, in which Ruth was her favorite story in the Bible. Your great-grandma demonstrated how important faith was in her life by being incredibly active in the church and by also making quilts to those in need. Boy, does the rabbi know me.
Seemed like you needed a Kleenex.
And a fresh one, too, so that's good. By making quilts for those in need. Oma immigrated from Austria after she married Pop. The story of Ruth she held very close to her heart, as the story of Ruth reminds us of the loyalty she had to Naomi, stating, "Wherever you go, I go. Wherever you stay, I stay. Your people shall be my people. Your God, my God." Olivia, you remind me a lot of Oma, as she never wanted someone to feel alone, as there was a time she felt alone in a new country. Oma was a true and loyal friend to those she met. I see those qualities in you, Olivia. I can only imagine the conversations you two would have together. Okay, I got this, you guys. Looking back on this journey, I can't help but think of the evolution of learning that Ethan, you, and I have had together. Your dad was in graduate school, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to help instill a Jewish foundation in you guys. This was when the Temple Tots CD that Miss Nicole made came in handy. Thank you. Miss Nicole made a CD that contained the songs that were frequently sung in temple services, as well as cultural songs, and a few Sunday school hits. Thankfully, because of our extreme run in Temple Tots, we have earned 2 of these CDs, as I had worn out the first one. So you can picture me in my minivan, driving through Kenosha with 2 kids in car seats in the back seat, blasting the Hora, because I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I knew that there was more than playing the Hora to create a Jewish foundation. So I reached into my faith and upbringing and knew that we needed to play more than once, or at least once, and oftentimes more than once. We learn and play the Mishabera every time before we left the van. Mishabera, as we sung earlier today, was a prayer for healing of others. From there had grown our foundation to include the full CD, as well as discovering other musicians, taking classes at Beth Hillel, and finding out what this journey means to us. I can't believe that we are now here to the point of Ethan completing his bar mitzvah, a student teacher in the Sunday school, and currently in confirmation classes. And Olivia, you completing your bat mitzvah and being a role model in our Sunday school. I am proud of both of you. I would like to close with one of my favorite memories of Olivia at services. She must have been 2.5 years old, and it was at a Friday night family service. We were sitting about where Joyce was, actually, and she was wearing a strawberry shortcake dress. That's how vividly I remember this. We came up to the song on Friday night, Micha Mocha, which we sang about Miriam, who is Moses' sister, and how she danced when the waters of the Red Sea parted. Olivia had gotten up off my lap during that song and started dancing in the aisles, twirling and spinning with so much joy in her eyes. I couldn't help to think that she was filled with the joy of Miriam at that moment. Olivia, as you go forth from this moment, I want you to have the faithfulness of Sarah, the loyalty of Ruth, and may you always dance like Miriam. I love you. Okay, I cried enough for the both of us, so now it's your turn.
It's a tough one to follow. Olivia, let me start by... You gotta be all cracked up now, right? And I only made it 3 words, so...
I hate you.
By saying how utterly proud I am of you and all you've accomplished to get here. Your zest for Judaism warms my heart. Ever since you were little, baby, you've enjoyed coming to services, Temple Tots and religious school. I remember when you were little and you used to bounce on my lap and dance in the aisles as the rabbi would sing. You loved coming to temple so much, you even took your first steps on the bima on a Friday night service. I love sitting in services with you, singing along with you, and trying not to get caught goofing off by the rabbi. Sitting with you in services reminds me of all the wonderful times I had attending high holiday services with my parents, and all the fond memories I have attending services with my Bubby and Zadie. I can even vividly remember sitting in services with my Zadie and goofing off with him by playing thumbware and playing with the tzitzit on his tallis. This special day also reminds me of how wonderful of a congregation we have here at Beth Hillel, and it wouldn't be without their support that we would be here. It was difficult with your brother and you as little kids coming to services, but the congregants here would always remind us that no matter how difficult it got, or the crying, or the screaming, or the running around,
Race cars.
that we should just come back. They were just so happy to see little kids in attendance every Friday. And so we kept coming, and here you are today, after all those years later. I continue to see your faith grow, your relationship with God get closer, and I knew you would do a wonderful job today. I also want to take some time out to highlight your Hebrew name, Sarah. You're named after your great Aunt Sylvia, or my Aunt Sylvia. Unfortunately, Aunt Sylvia passed away while I was a very young boy. While I don't have many memories of her and I together, I do have a couple memories. One of those memories I have of her is when she was unfortunately very, very sick. My parents brought me to visit her, and her and I had a conversation. And in that conversation, I can vaguely remember that she asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And this is when I was into animals and everything, and I'm pretty sure I probably told her I wanted to be a zookeeper. She said, "You go be a zookeeper. You go do whatever you want to do." And, you know, I've done what I've wanted to do. I hope you take that message that she gave me and you do what you want to do in life. Even though she passed away when I was young, I would constantly ask and hear stories from the other aunts, my bubby and my mother. And they'd always tell me how strong Aunt Sylvia was. They'd tell me what a kind person she was and how she loved her family.
Here you go. We're a mess today.
I know. You're a lot like her. You're strong, you're kind, and you love your family. And I firmly believe that you embody the spirit of your great-great Aunt Sylvia, and I know she would be so proud of the woman you're becoming today and the future you have in front of you. Well, we are all here the day of your bat mitzvah, and you've done a wonderful job, just like I always knew you would. The work, dedication, and perseverance to become a bat mitzvah is truly an accomplishment, and you should be so proud of all you've done to get here. Many here may not know how much you've actually balanced in your life to get to this point. You have school, you dance 4 to 5 days a week, you're a cheerleader, you do track and field, you're in plant club, drama club, mariachi band, jazz band, National Junior Honor Society. I honestly don't know how you do it, but not only do you do it while giving 200%. And that 200% that you give in everything showed in how well you did today. I hope that as you continue in your Jewish studies, you still give that 200%. I hope you continue to ask questions, seek answers, and look deeper into the Jewish teachings. Yeah. And then share that knowledge with others. I want to leave you with one final thought. Continue to have zest for Judaism. Have zest in the traditions, the customs, the prayers, and the songs. And as the congregation reminded me, just keep coming to services and know that it will always be here for you, and I'll always be right next to you goofing off.
Thank you. You're going to love your daughter?
Yes.
Or? Okay. Love you, Peanut. Oh, drop the clip.
That's okay. You can go back to your seat. Let's join in singing Shehechianu. We thank God for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'hegiyanu lazman hazeh. Olivia, will you join me up here? I have a few words I want to share as well. Olivia, it has been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun to have you as a student. We've spent a lot of one-on-one time together this year. Just you and me. Wednesday afternoons, Sunday mornings, bat mitzvah tutoring, and it's always been wonderful. It's been a joy. You're always so cooperative and enthusiastic, and you like to try everything, even if it seems a little bit hard at first. And you've become a great shaliach tzibor, a service leader, because every Wednesday afternoon, Olivia is Zooming. I guess it's evening now, this time of year, Wednesday evening. Olivia is leading a Zoom service, and anyone who wants to can come and join us at the weekday Hebrew service. And because she's the only student in the class, it's always Olivia leading it. And she's gotten very, very good at it. As you could probably tell this morning, she's learned a lot of prayers and done very well. And as your dad said, Olivia, you have lots of talents and you have lots of interests. You know, the dance, the clarinet, the guitar, all of the other things your dad mentioned. And I do hope you're going to develop that guitar skill, because we know we need a song leader here at the temple. So we're kind of relying on you to become a song leader here. And one of the things that I know about you that your parents didn't mention is how you stand up for yourself and your Jewish identity. And there's been a number of occasions when you have had to do that because you're one of the only maybe the only Jewish kid in your school, and there have been incidents where you were challenged because you were the only Jewish kid around, including you told me this year that you informed one of your classmates that Hanukkah really is a thing. And you told your class what Hanukkah is because someone was doubting whether Hanukkah was actually a thing. So I know where this comes from, this strong sense of Jewish identity and feeling like you want to stand up for who you are, because it comes from your parents, who have been such incredible role model for you. Your dad, because he's so proud of his Jewish heritage, but also your mother, because she is so spiritually grounded, as we all heard in the remarks that you made this morning. You know, she knows the Bible, and she knows what the importance of religion in someone's life, and it's so wonderful how she has grown in her appreciation of Judaism and shared that with you along with your dad. So we know that you come by honestly your pride and your Jewish heritage, and it's so appropriate that you said in your remarks this morning about what it means to be a bat mitzvah, that you feel that sense of carrying on something from generation to generation. We in Hebrew we say lador vador, from generation to generation, and you hear what a long history it's come from in your dad's family down to you, and now you're going to carry it on, we're sure, because of the kind of person you are and the way that you show that you're proud of your identity already as a young person. The Torah portion's also about that. It's so appropriate that, you know, it's about Jacob passing it on to his children and the next generation, and they make a big point in the Torah portion of saying that his grandsons, Manasseh and Ephraim, whose names we use to bless boys at the Shabbat dinner table still to this day, that he was passing it on to them. And he knew that it was a tough environment that they lived in. You know, they were the only Jews in all of Egypt, their family, and yet they were clinging to their traditions and keeping them alive. And the same thing with Joseph. After their father dies, he makes sure that he and his brothers are unified, and they're going to stay together, and they're going to carry on who they are as people. So I wanted to share a different story from later Jewish tradition. The rabbis told a story about a character named Honi. And the legend about Honi is that he was riding on a donkey one day in the land of Israel, and that he saw an old man planting a carob tree. Carob is kind of a pod, and sometimes we eat carob chips on Tu B'Shvat that come from that pod. He was planting a carob tree, and Honi stopped and said to this man, "Why are you planting that tree? I mean, do you realize that carob trees sometimes live for 70 years before they ever bear fruit? You're never going to see the fruit of that tree." And the old man said, "Well, when I came into this world, it was a fruitful world. So I am planting for future generations." And just after Honi heard that, he sat down to eat and drink, and he fell asleep. And somehow, magically, he fell asleep for 70 years. And a grotto formed around him, like a cave formed around him. And so no one saw him for 70 years because he was hidden in this cave. And then he finally woke up, and he came out of the cave, and he saw this amazing carob tree there, and a young man harvesting the carob pods. And he asked him who he was. He said, "Well, I'm just a person from the village, but my grandfather planted this tree, and now I'm harvesting the fruit." And Honi realized that what that old man had said had been prophetic, that he was planting for future generations. And that's really what you're doing when you become a bat mitzvah. You know, you're learning the ways of our people, the traditions of our people. You said you're committed to following some of the commandments that you think are important, to being a leader in our school. I hope you'll help in our school like your brother does, and to pass it on to those who come after us. We call that in Jewish tradition the shalshelet HaKabbalah, the chain of tradition that you receive from your family and then you pass on to those who follow you. So we are very proud of you and all that you have undertaken and accomplished for this day. And with these thoughts about passing on the tradition, l'dor vador, from generation to generation, I'll ask you to stand with me in front of the ark as I ask God's blessings upon you. Yivarechech Adonai v'yishmerech. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elayich v'chunech. May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elayich v'yasem lach shalom. May the Spirit of God be lifted up over you and give you shalom, peace, and mazel tov. You can go have a seat. We continue now with Aleinu on page 586 in our prayer books, and we rise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kamishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Please be seated. Page 591. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yihye Adonai echad, Ushmo echad. We continue on page 597 with a meditation prior to the Kaddish prayer. And I invite those who are observing a yard site on this Shabbat or who have experienced the death of a dear one in recent weeks or months to rise during this meditation. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat at Beth Hillel Temple, we particularly remember Nancy Sedloff and Sally or Sarah Michelle Remsen, who but recently were taken from our midst. May their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. And we mark the yard sites of Myron H. Dorfman, Anna Goldberg, Lena Cohen, Kenneth Kreinis, Goldie Marachnik, Howard J. Cadwitt, Lillian Block Park, Charles A. Lepp, Ida G. Garb, Edward Narotsky, and Arthur Daniels. And the Marshall family would like to remember great-grandfather John Wormwood and great-aunt Deborah Wormwood. Zichronam livracha, may their memories serve as a blessing. We turn to page 598, and all rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, be'alma divarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei chon u'v'yomei chon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imeru, amen. Yehei shemei rabah mevarach alam ulamei amaya, yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudashah b'richu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ve'alma ve'imeru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us, and let us say, amen. Please be seated, and I'll call upon Todd Letvin from our Leadership Council to share a welcome message and some presentations for Olivia.
Mazel tov. First of all, amazing job. We know how hard it is to read Hebrew, to chant the Haftarah. I was with Olivia a number of years in the Sunday school. She always did great. The 200% that your parents talked about is undoubtedly true. You give it all, and always with a smile. You could always count on Olivia to come in, regardless of how many hours she had just put in dancing, and come in with a smile. It was always so nice to see you. And so on behalf of the congregation, I do have a few things for you. It's wrapped, but I'm going to ruin the surprise. It's a Kiddush cup. It's engraved with your name and today's date. We hope that you'll use it to welcome Shabbat and all of the holidays for years to come. Secondly, we have a gift certificate for a trip to Israel from NIFTY on behalf of Northern Federation of Temple Youth for $3,250. We hope that you'll use that. And lastly, a certificate signed by myself and the rabbi, which is going to be worth a lot of money someday, commemorating this special day. You did great. Thank you so much for leading us in service. And you can take your seat now. Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of the Leadership Council of Beth Hillel Temple, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all who have joined us this Shabbat, either in person or on the live stream. Mazal Tov to Olivia and the entire family. The Marshall family invites all present to join in a kiddush reception immediately following services 2 floors below. We will recite the blessings for bread and wine here in the sanctuary so that you can take challah, juice, or wine when you reach the hall and help yourself at the buffet table. We kindly request that everyone use the social hall door on the lower level where the reception will be held to exit the building. Our security is greatly enhanced when we use one exit. Those who need it may still use the accessibility ramp on the front of the building. Thank you for your cooperation. Feel free to take 1 or more blue ribbons for the return of the hostages in Gaza as you pass the photos in the corridor. We will maintain our blue ribbon empty chairs until all are released. We have also placed in the hallway the blue square Stand Up to Jewish Hate buttons to combat anti-Semitism. Please take one and share with a friend. Please note that Beth Hillel's annual fund campaign is in progress until the end of the year. Please see Thursday's e-news for details about the fund and a link to the donation page. Also look for information about the sign-up for Beth Hillel dinner groups. The deadline for that is Sunday as well. We kindly request, other temple information is found on the temple website. An e-news with current information was sent on Thursday. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So Olivia, will you join me up here? Olivia likes the songs that we sing on Sunday morning that have hand motions, so she picked David Melech Yisrael to close us out, and then we'll go down there and do the blessings for the challah and the wine. Ready? Get your hands ready. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. 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 We'll ask that everyone rise while we do the blessing over the wine. Pick up the Kiddush cup. And if you wish to follow along, the words are on page 604. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ha'olam borei peri ha'gafen. Chaim. And we'll join in the blessing over the challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. I'll take that. Take a piece of that. Hamotzi lachem min haaretz v'tei. Just a tiny piece. Shabbat Shalom.